So the topic we're doing today is sociology. In sociology, it's modernity and social changes in Europe and emergence of sociology. This is the very first topic which we are going to do, and the format of this video will be, we'll first of all revise the things, and then we'll move on to discuss, like try to brainstorm a bit of these questions. These are PYQs, by the way. I don't have the updated PDF as of now, but there are 11 questions in this. But I think one or two of questions are not are misclassified in this topic. So I think we have around 8 or 9 questions. But we'll start from revising the topic. So the topic is modernity and social changes. All of the PYQs around this topic are basically related to how sociology is emerging from a period of dark age, and how this dark age led to modernity, and how all the changes and chaos in the modernity uh, led to the emergence of sociology. First of all, we'll start by understanding what a dark age is. The medieval Europe was grappled with a dark age. What that is it was a society characterized by its inward looking thought process. It had feudal structures, it had ignorance, it had social evils, and it lacked the new ideas and innovations in social and scientific field, right? So from this dark age, which is very backward looking, which is a bad society, from this we went to a period of Renaissance. What Renaissance is basically, it is this idea. It is a time. It is a time where people started to put man and humanism at the center of all the activities, right? So they started questioning. This is, by the way, the most central theme of Renaissance. They started putting man and humanism in the center of all the activities. So what they did was they started to question all the existing thoughts. It was a period of reawakening of the European thought. So there was a paradigm shift. You can use this keyword, paradigm shift. Okay, and this Renaissance thought process was reflected not only in arts and painting, but all the aspects of society, right? And now we'll study modernity. Now the modernity is basically divided in three parts. The first is the intellectual ideas, the second is the material context, and the third is the political development. First is intellectual the intellectual ideas. So intellectual ideas may what is there? It consists of scientific revolution. In the material context, it has commercial revolution and it has industrial revolution. In the political development, it has French Revolution. So we'll study scientific revolution. These are the developments in the field of science which led these are the development in the field of science, various sciences, which changed how people thought of the society, how people went by their day, and also it brought a lot of other changes also. So there were ongoing researches in various sciences: biology, physics, chemistry, maths, and astrology. Right? First in biology, the famous thing was Darwin. He was a famous guy. He came up with he concluded that the body is made up of parts that work together, right? Like body is made up of heart, liver, brain, that work together to form the human that we are. We are not made by God, right? In the physics, Newton's work proved that the universe was a clock governed by universal laws. This is a very important thing. Universe was a clock governed by universal laws and not the whims of God. It was not whatever thing was happening in America was also happening in Europe. So it was not like uh, God is doing this to us. So the grip of the church over the society was loosened by this. In the maths led to the objective development of knowledge. But before that study, in chemistry, the Boyle pioneered scientific method for chemistry, separating it from witchcraft. We all know the housewives' tales of witchcraft and how women were hanged and tortured in the Europe for being witches, right? So the Boyle, I'm sure you must have studied the gas law, and one of the scientists is Boyle, and so this guy Boyle pioneered the scientific method. Scientific method is basically the method of research for chemistry. He pioneered the scientific method for chemistry, separating it from witchcraft. For astrology, we all know that Copernicus came up with this heliocentric model, which was which was opposed to the church geocentric model. Just a second. Hello. एक मिनट. आया नहीं माना तो मम्मी ने भेजा ऐसा. अच्छा व्हाट्सएप में. हाँ हाल से हाँ. हाँ ना तारा करता एक साइज बड़े ला लेना 5. ठीक है. Sorry for the delay. Let's continue. So in astrology, Copernicus developed this heliocentric model opposed to the church geocentric model, and we all know the horror story behind it, right? Let's just summarize. In biology, we had Darwin, who said that body is made up of part. In physics, we had Boyle, in physics we had, what did we have in physics? In physics, we had Newton. Obviously, the Newton's work proved that the universe was a clock governed by universal laws and not by the whims of God. In chemistry, we had Boyle, who pioneered scientific method in chemistry, separating it from witchcraft. In maths, we had maths helped us in objective development of knowledge, and in astrology, we had Copernicus's heliocentric model. So all these researchers provided a way to develop knowledge objectively. The word objectively here is important. All these researchers provided us ways to develop knowledge objectively. This convinced the social researchers that progress in the knowledge of society lies on the natural sciences. Like just assume that you are in a period where these universal laws are being founded, on which these disciplines are working, right? So people thought, these social thinkers thought, okay, if we want to progress in the field of social sciences, we have to uh, like the sort what what can I say, like our answers lies in on the lines of natural sciences, right? Like we have to do social researches. Hello. So huh. हाँ गम से हाँ 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 हाल चलायला सस्ती है ना. So this tukdi came up now. So this tukdi came up of Comte, Spencer, and Durkheim, CSD, who proposed to adopt scientific methods to study social facts. They thought, okay, we'll come together. We'll also use scientific methods to study human social facts, right? This was the intellectual ideas of modernity. Now we are moving to material context. Material context consists of commercial revolution and industrial revolution. Commercial revolution is basically moving from subsistence economy to integrated worldwide economic system, right? There was paper currency, there was check, there was banking, there was credit facility. All these gave rise to a new middle class. A new middle class which consisted of traders, merchants, and bankers. And then we have industrial revolution. Now for industrial revolution, think of India and Britain, right? Innovation. Uh, uh, there was in industrial revolution there was a lot of innovation of machines, right? This is because there was an increase in demand due to the new territories that were founded by colonialism. They also what other changes were there. There was new economic system. There was change in nature of occupation, change in nature of occupation. Now people were starting. People's day was governed. I like this really good sentence which says, "Machine dominated man. The siren of factory determines one's routine." The machine in industrial revolution, the machine dominated man. The siren of factory determined one's routine. So there was social mobility. The peasants started working as farmer. The peasants started working as industrial men. There was employment of women and children. There was anomy because of unregulated industry. There was change in division of labor. There was new economic system. There was urbanization due to which there was slum. And new crimes came. Now we'll see the political developments, right? Political context. In French Revolution, monarchy was abolished and democracy was established. The monarchy's monopoly over property was gone. Now the European society was had started a capitalist economy. The power of clergy and feudal lords decreased. There was a new middle class. So first of all, monopoly of monarchy was abolished. Monopoly of monarchy. Then power of clergy and feudal lords. Then there was new ideas. Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, Locke. Montesquieu was all about concentration of power, separation of power, and liberty. Montesquieu was all about concentration of power, separation of power, and liberty. You can think of it like mom, right? Mom is what? Mom is the power source in our house. So Montesquieu is concentration of power, separation of power, liberty. Voltaire is all about freedom of speech and expression, individual rights, secularism, tolerance. He is like the good person. Freedom of rights सबको दो, individual rights सबको दो. Everyone should tolerate each other's religious belief. There should be secularism. So Voltaire was like a very good person, right? Then Rousseau is like uh, Rousseau is like power to the people guy. Rousseau is like power to the people guy. Uh, if you know that reference. So Rousseau said sovereignty lies in the people. He also termed this. He also termed this. Coined this term general will of people, right? Yeah, it's just a useless fact. Then log सर फंडामेंटल राइट को लॉक करके रखो. So all these things led to enlightenment. Now, what were the tenets of enlightenment, if you ask me? Enlightenment was emphasis on reasons. Enlightenment thinkers believed that human affairs could be understood through reason rather than religion or superstition, right? Like human affairs should be understood, human society should be understood through reason. The success, we should have scientific temper. Like people were starting to like accept that science and the scientific methodologies were superior to than those of religious methodologies, right? The success of natural sciences inspired the search for scientific laws governing society. That is also, by the way, this is a very basic thing, right? The scientific temper and the success of scientific methodologies in other sciences is what led to the development of sociology, because the initial people thought there were some governing laws that there are, and we need to find them. Then belief in progress, that the idea that the society could improve, like all these information, all these things will help us improve, right? But only through knowledge and reform. It also critiqued the traditional authority, monarchy, church, feudal institutions, encouraged critical examination of social structures, individualism and human agency, and enlightenment emphasized individual rights and freedom. Secularism, social events began to be explained through social causes rather than divine intervention. Then there was universalism, obviously. The Enlightenment thinkers believed that the society operated according to discoverable principles. There's just something I tried to make a mnemonic sort of. Temper cure, temper, re say reason. Keep belief in authority, belief in progress, that we will progress uh, our society only through investigations and knowledge. Authority, critique the traditional authority. Temper cure, believe in authority. Individual, secular, universal. Authority, to believe कर. Individual, authority is secular, this authority is secular, you should believe, and this authority is universal. This is not like good mnemonic that works. All these changes like this can be used as conclusion. Like all these changes sought the attention of intellectuals. Intellectuals sought the answer to the question posed by the chaos of this, and then this led to the emergence of a new social science, later came to known as sociology. So we'll just go through the PYQs. What aspects of enlightenment do you think paved path for emergence of sociology? Now we know इसका direct answer, right? इसका direct answer, we have all the mnemonic which I just told you. Europe was the first and the only place where modernity emerged. Now you can write that Europe was initially in dark ages, and then because of things like French Revolution, starting of colonialism, which was due to Arabs, and then how it led to industrial revolution, how it led to commercial revolution, and this challenged the existing foundations and existing traditional authority, and then it led to the emergence, and then modernity emerged. Modernity is basically reason के ऊपर belief, all that. How did the intellectual forces lead to emergence of sociology? Intellectual forces में what you can write? Intellectual forces में you can write this. French Revolution basically. because intellectual forces में we can also write so there is intellectual revolution which is all these, right? Montesquieu, Voltaire, Rousseau, Locke. There was political revolution, monarchy abolished basically, religious changes that जो भी जो भी न्यू थिंकिंग प्रोसेस आई थी बिकॉज ऑफ बायोलॉजी, बिकॉज ऑफ फिजिक्स, बिकॉज ऑफ केमिस्ट्री, बिकॉज ऑफ एस्ट्रोलॉजी, these all things challenged the existing religious foundation and existing religious social structure. Then economy तो है ही basically how these things changed. Commercial revolution के industrial revolution के बाद there came a capitalistic society, right? I don't think this is very much relevant, but yeah. Modernization presupposes that this is not even relevant here. Discuss the historical antecedents of emergence of sociology as a discipline. Historical and antecedents में you can again divide it in political, intellectual and material. So you can write all that. Does collapse of functionalism and bankruptcy of Marxism collide with rupture of modernity? We'll discuss this in the end. Explain how sociology emerged as a distinct principle based on rationality and scientific temper. Yeah, this is a very good question, and what you have to do is you have to write these things, scientific revolution, and these things, how they inspired the social thinkers and how they convinced the social researchers that progress and knowledge of society only lies on natural sciences, lies on the line of natural sciences, and how the CSD, Comte or Spencer Durkheim, proposed to adopt scientific methods to study social facts. Sociology is preeminently study of modern society. We have to write how modernity emerged and how modernity caused the development of social science, that is sociology. How did modernity emerge? Modernity emerged due to again how did modernity emerge? What is modernity? And in conclusion you can write this all these changes sought the attention of social thinkers, and then the social science was established, and it is a study of modern society. How enlightenment contributed to the emergence of sociology. There was flux, all these changes were there, things were changing, people sought answers to the chaos, and the researchers believed that there was a way, there was a universal law on which we could study human society. How did the emergence of industrial society shape the and their family? Sociology emerged in Europe. इसका ना we will learn many American sociologists, so uska you can write afterwards. So we'll just study this one. Does the collapse of functionalism and bankruptcy of Marxism? This is actually a very good line also. Collapse of functionalism and bankruptcy of Marxism coincide with the rupture of modernity. So first of all, collapse of functionalism collapsed. Marxism was done, basically it went bankrupt, and it coincided with the rupture of modernity. That how the age of reason, the age of individualism was collapsed, was ruptured. So both functionalism and Marxism are product of modernity. We have to understand that. Both believe that the society follows identifiable patterns and can be explained through universal theories. Both reflected enlightenment, faith in reason, progress, and scientific analysis. Functionalism's decline reflects crisis. Functionalism assumed social census, stability, integration. But what is happening? There is social diversity, there is globalization, there is fragmentation that challenge this assumption. There was social order was weakened. Marxism's bankruptcy. Marxism predicted revolution and transformation by working class, the collapse of social regimes, resilience of capitalism weakened its predictive power. It also challenged the class reductionism. Now there is movements based on gender, ethnicity, environment, right? Therefore, the decline coincides with the rupture of modernity, the weakening of belief in progress, universal truth, single explanatory frameworks led to decline of both theories. Their crisis represents a broader intellectual crisis of modernity itself. And the collapse of functionalism and bankruptcy of Marxism largely coincide with the rupture of modernity because both rooted in Marxist assumptions. Okay, whatever. We'll just see the introductions and conclusions. Okay, इसका छोटा ही होगा. Once you see it in this now, it will help. I've made so many folders now, I cannot even remember. Where is it? Social. The emergence of sociology was culmination of not only a very long history of human thinking about social world, but of the broader intellectual, political, economic and social movements in the 19th century Europe, in the 14th century Europe, basically not 19th, right? So what it says is, it is not only a very long history of human thinking about social world. Like it is not just our delulu brains thinking of the human world, but it is broader intellectual, political, economic, social movements. That is the first. Thinking about society is as old as society itself. However, a systematic study of society became a necessity due to modernity that characterized new institutions, new value system, new equations in the social, political, economic matter. It is saying that thinking is as old as society. However, a systematic study of society, but this discipline, right, this systematic study of society became a necessity due to modernity. It became a necessity due to modernity. इतना ही कर लो. That thinking about society is as old as society, but systematic study of society became a necessity due to modernity. और ये क्या बोल रहा है? थिंकिंग हम लोग बहुत टाइम से सोच रहे हैं, बहुत टाइम से सोच तो रहे हैं, बट दिस इज नॉट हाउ सोशियोलॉजी इमर्ज. इट इज़ बिकॉज ऑफ द ब्रॉडर intellectual, political, economic and social movements. Okay? Modernity created a new form of social existence characterized by problems and prospects. So modernity की वजह से there was a new form of social existence. उसके साथ उसके problems आए and it had its own prospects, right? Modernity created a new form of social existence. Now there is a new life after modernity, which had its own problems and prospects. This required a deeper scrutiny by conservative and liberal writing and reflecting upon modernity. Such reflections got fertilized into a new branch of knowledge called sociology. So there's this new form of existence. उसके ऊपर we need a deeper scrutiny. We need a deeper scrutiny by everyone, by conservatives, by liberals. Now this reflections got fertilized into a new branch of knowledge. Necessity is the mother of invention. That's systematic study was the mother of invention due to modernity. Modernity is the subject matter of sociology since it's just not that good. Okay. So this is it for this topic. Thank you.